So it's not a question of plan versus no plan. I think the plan is to equip ourselves to do something which we like to do, and which could then become a profession, a passion, a service to the community, etc. And then go with the flow. You can't go with the flow if you have no skills. You can't go with, I mean, you can to some extent, but it's not about writing our own life. It is about getting prepared for life at every stage. So whatever life has in store for you, you are better equipped to deal with it. That is the plan.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are running short of time. It's almost 8, and we have 3 more girls who have.
That's okay. We can, we can do 3 quick questions. I want to make sure that, everybody who wants to ask a question has the opportunity to ask the question. Yes, no problem. I don't have a problem unless you guys do.
Not at all, ma'am. Thank you so much. Shivangi, quickly go next.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I am Shivangi Vishwakarma. So, like everyone have asked, almost every question, but is there something that you think is very important and you want people to ask you, like which is not asked very often?
So you're asking me to ask a difficult question of myself. Huh? You've given me the difficult homework. No, I think you've all asked me fairly, very good questions, very expansive questions. Is there anything I want you to know more than I have already said? I think I'm repeating myself. I just want you to know that, you're very capable people, and you are the only ones who will come in your own way. Now, I understand, I don't want to make this sound very lighthearted. I understand at times there is pressure from family. There is social pressure, there is societal pressure, all of that. But, this exposure that you're getting, this experience that you're getting, hopefully will make you better prepared, to deal with those pressures. And, the fact is that everybody has some pressure or the other, no matter who you are. You can be the Queen of England or the Prime Minister of a country. You always have some pressure. So that is a reality of life. But I think how we deal with pressure becomes one of the other very important purposes or rationale of education. Education is not about going in, attending classes, answering an exam and getting a degree. Education is how well equipped am I to deal with all those things that life has in store for me, which I cannot imagine, but those things might happen to me. And the purpose of education is to make you better prepared to deal with those things. Okay, so I see.
Shivani and Shilpi, can you go next? Whoever has a question.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank you for spending such a lovely evening with us. Actually, ma'am, I was super excited for today's session because it is incredible for me to speaking to such a inspirational and such a successful lady who did same course and from the same college. So as of now, I can say that I am following your footsteps. So I would like to ask that being an economics student, I always have I was always inquisitive to know about economics based career. So you were economics graduate and then you did your MBA, then you got into Cadbury's Britannia. So I just want to ask that what all difficulties were there when you switched from economics to MBA, and also was there any correlation between economics and the MBA?
So, MBA is actually quite a general degree, because people come into MBA from an economics background, a psychology background, There are people who can do their, BA in English and then come and do an MBA. There are engineers who do MBAs, etc. So think of an MBA as a degree that sort of, rounds off whatever you've done before that in your undergraduate program or in your engineering program or computer science program or whatever. So there is, there's no difficulty. You will be exposed to some new subjects and so on, but we are exposed to new subjects. In any case, even if you did an MA in economics, there would be aspects of economics that you would be exposed to that you would not have done in your BA. So, so that is really, you will all take it in your stride. There's nothing difficult or grandiose about it at all. It's just, doing another degree. But, like engineering, like medicine, you have to sit for an entrance exam, but that's okay. That also you'll study for and you'll prepare for, and all that works well. So did you ask me another question? Was there a second part to your question?
Yes, ma'am. It was I asked, was there any correlation between business and economics?
Yeah. Obviously, economics is a very broad-based subject. In our day-to-day life, we're talking economics without calling it economics. We're talking about concepts like GDP, inflation numbers, monetary policy, fiscal policy. You pick up any newspaper, that is what they're talking about now. Everybody, even people who are not doing economics, are reading those, and it begins to make sense. But as an economist, you have a deeper understanding of some of those concepts. So, if you want to do an MBA after economics, it's great. If you want to do an MBA after psychology or sociology or history, that is also great, because there's nothing so daunting about an MBA degree.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Last question from Ritu Gautam.
I'm Ritu Gautam, and my question is, ma'am, what kind of obstacles you have seen as a woman in your profession?
I get asked this question a lot. So what are the obstacles? Usually, how do I answer this question? I have personally not paid any attention to obstacles. And that has been my way of, dealing with those obstacles. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I just don't want it to sound cute. We talk so much about gender inequality, not getting the same opportunities, etc., etc., that women being, a little bit disadvantaged, especially, when they go away on maternity leave, they have children and they take a break, and what happens, etc., etc. I think the best way to deal with it is, which is what I did, is really to say that, look, if you value me for the work I do, then everything else becomes less important. We shouldn't get too carried away by, how this will seem or how that will seem, though I must, in all fairness, say to you that there are several instances and, and several examples where women have been disadvantaged because, when it's a question, and that is not a problem of the company, that is a problem of our society, the expectations that society has. Now, if you get married to somebody and he has a job somewhere, then the woman is expected to give up her job and follow her husband, and not the other way around. And some of those things are changing, but a lot of it still remains the same. So there is a lens of, what is the expectation of society. And part of the thing that women also have to navigate is, how do you navigate this societal expectations, these family expectations? And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. If you have a family that is very supportive, I keep thinking about the film Dangal, and saying that, every dad was a dangal dad and, stood behind his daughters, that would be great. But, we know that every dad is not a dangal dad. And sometimes you have to work with your grandmother or your mother or somebody to provide that support system. A lot is changing, but a lot still remains to be changed. So I think the ability to navigate, and some of these are very tough calls because it has nothing to do with your ability. It just has to do with expectations of society. And I think all of us have to play our part, have to play our role in changing those societal expectations by demonstrating that, just because you're not following your husband to the same city where he's got a job doesn't mean that, you're not interested in creating a good family life. Now, again, in your generation, many things are changing, but many things are not changing. So, we have to take advantage of whatever support systems we have to actually convince more and more people, starting with immediate families, to employers, that, when it comes to your performance at work, frankly, the only thing that should matter is your competency and not your accent or your gender or your ethnicity or your accent or anything else. But, we are some ways away from that world, but that is also our responsibility. All of us, your generation, my generation, the generations in between, we all have to work together to bring about that change, because it's not an easy change. But, giving up is not an option either.